Hi guys, and welcome back to Jurassic Collectibles. So today we're going to continue our look at the CollectA dinosaur figure range by looking at this guy. It's the Diplodocus from CollectA. Now CollectA have very kindly sent us over a massive parcel full of dinosaurs. We did do an unboxing video, so I'll put a link to that down below so you can see what's coming up. But special thanks to CollectA and Esther from CollectA for sending these over for us to review. Okay, so the Diplodocus looks like he's posed in a very special way, and I'll show you more in just a minute. Let's get him out of the packaging. Now, Diplodocus was one of my childhood favourites. Along with the Brachiosaurus, it was one of those long-necked dinosaurs that everyone had heard of, and this one just looks fantastic. Now they put some cardboard between his legs. He's not using it as a surfboard. It's just to stop his legs from warping. So we can take that out. So CollectA very lovingly packaged this one. And here is the Diplodocus out of the packaging. Look at this. Wow, what a dynamic pose. Look at that tail curled right back up and in a whip-like pose. It's fantastic. Now we can actually pose this Diplodocus, we can actually pose him like this, and that's how the Diplodocus comes from CollectA, and I think that's really unique. That is going to display really nicely on my shelf, and I can't wait to get him on display. Beautiful bright colour scheme as well. We've got some almost like war paint on the head there, and just looks absolutely fantastic. Okay. Let's get a closer look at this figure. So starting off with the head sculpt, you can see we've got a really nicely detailed tiny head, and that's because the Diplodocus, in terms of their proportion, they did have tiny weeny heads. But you can see there it seems to be having a good old roar, and I really like this contrast of the head colour scheme with the rest of the body. It's really striking, and I'm pretty sure they've sourced this from natural history. There are animals that have completely different coloured heads. There's a lot of colourful tree frogs and all sorts of different animals that have really striking colour schemes. So I really like this splash of red and white. Looks really threatening. Fantastic. And I'm sure if it was a dinosaur coming by this Diplodocus, it would think, oh, that's a bit of a warning not to go near this animal. So it makes sense that it would have some sort of bright colour scheme like this. Now it is made from a rubbery plastic. You can see as I bend the head, it's very flexible, but it actually gives this skin this unique realistic feel. It reminds me of like the Jurassic Park old toys. So as we come down the neck, you can see we've got these lovely sculpted spines going all the way down the back of the neck. Very nice indeed. We've got this beautiful mix of greens and yellows going on, nice different spots, a little bit of sort of light grey going on here as well. A really nice blend of different colours, and we've got these lovely striations along the neck showing us where it's creased over time as the neck is bent from either side. You can see there's a nice little bit of skin hanging down here, sagging below the neck. Really nice detail there. And as we transition into the shoulder muscles and the scapula, you can see the bone sort of protruding through the skin. Nice here how the way the muscles all sort of gather in the center. Reminds me of like the front of a horse where all the muscles gather and you can see all the musculature in the front there of the torso. As we go down the leg, you can see there's some really nice creases going on here. You really get the feeling that there's a lot of weight being displaced down the leg. Very nice. Really like the feet here. Very sort of elephant looking, and you can see they've got that really striking claw that the Diplodocus has. If you ever get a chance to see a Diplodocus skeleton in the museum, you'll see that they do have these very strong big toe claws, and so did the Diplodocus, sorry, the Brachiosaurus as well. So as we go up the leg, you can see there's a nice little pole of skin here. It looks like it's quite taut as it's being pulled away from the rib cage. Very nice. And you can just faintly see the ribs coming through the surface of the skin. Underneath we've got the CollectA logo, and we've got this sort of crocodilian belly. And then as we come to the back leg, very nice musculature defined here, especially in the lower leg. And again, lots of nice creases to show that there's a lot of weight being displaced down the leg. Really nicely painted and sculpted toe claws. You can see they're almost like curving off to one side here. Again, I think this is true to the Diplodocus skeleton. I like the way it transitions from this nice bright yellow to a dark brown around the feet. It's really effective. And then as we come back to the tail, you can see we've got some really nice contrast of scales. We've got these lumps and bumps, and then underneath we've got these finer scales and these striations. Really nice, and I love the way this tail is sculpted. Look at that, the way it just whips around. It's a really unique Diplodocus, and we're so used to seeing this thing in a very neutral pose. It's really nice to see it stood up. Again, you can see the ribs on this side, a bit more of these splashes of grey here, and then we come back up to the head. The head is actually quite glossy looking at it again, and you can see that the teeth have been painted, as has the inner cavity of the mouth. So very nice attention to detail there. So in terms of the scale, I've got the tape measure here. We're looking at about 8 inches long if we just measure it in terms of its pose, and that's about 20 centimeters long. And then in terms of its height, we're looking at about 9 inches tall, which is about 23 centimeters. So it's quite a sizable figure. It's quite a beautiful long-necked figure, and I do like this pose. It's really cool, really dynamic, and CollectA are really good at doing unusual dinosaur poses. Okay, size comparison time. Let's bring in the CollectA Stegosaurus corpse, and you can see here again we've got a little bit of a story. The Diplodocus has come back to find his friend Mr. Stegosaurus. He's dead on the ground, and he's like, no! And he's kind of rearing back like an upset horse. But there you can see the Stegosaurus is quite small in comparison to the Diplodocus, as you'd expect. But the Stegosaurus comes up just to about the foot here, the front foot. So that gives you a good indication of how big this figure is. Let's bring in the CollectA Ichthyovenator to give you another idea. So here's the Ichthyovenator, and that one comes up to just at the bottom of the Diplodocus's neck there in its reared up pose. Both of these dinosaurs have been reviewed on the channel already, links down below. So there we have it, guys. That's the CollectA Diplodocus in the reared up standing pose with a beautiful whip-like tail. Now, I'm really impressed with this figure, and with a lot of the CollectA dinosaurs, they've really surprised me every time. They come up with something really novel, a new way to pose the dinosaur, a new situation to put it in, and this one is just fantastic. You can really imagine creating some wonderful stories. If you had some carnivores, you bring them into the scene, and you've got the Diplodocus rearing back like a disturbed horse, and that actually is a really cool storytelling device. Okay guys, do you own this one already? Will you be picking him up? Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, rate, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.